Okay, so what I want to talk about today is how to build a relay on a external host on the internet, in case that you have problems with that you don't have access to the public IP on your router at home, maybe on CGNet, maybe you're behind a firewall, or in a dorm, wherever, where you don't have the ability to do the port forwardings to your own OBS instance. The other use case in this case is also where you, for example, are streaming with BelaBox with multiple modems and you need a relay to convert from SRTLA to SRT. This can be quite handy. So in the community, somebody has spotted that Oracle actually has free cloud hosting, free as like entirely free, and that includes 2 AMD virtual machines with 1 core, 1 gig of RAM, and 480 megabit of bandwidth, which is really good. So to get this set up, we'll go to developer.oracle.com/free. I will leave the links in the description down below. And word of advice here, use Firefox. I tried it with Chrome. I went through the entire setup process, and when it came to the point of setting up a credit card for payment, it didn't work. Now they will take something the likes of $1, which they immediately refund. I actually used a disposable virtual card and that worked fine, and the service is free. There's a €250 or $300 extra free trial for 30 days for some of the other services, which you then have to pay for. But beyond that, these virtual machines are free, and you get a public IP and you can install Linux on it, and so it works great for an SRT relay or SRTLA relay, or even an RTMP proxy if you want to do that. Now today I'm setting up an SRT relay and an SRTLA relay for BelaBox. And then you can use it for anything really after that. So grand. Okay, let's get started. So when you get to developer.oracle.com/free, you go to get started, and then you set your account up. Now I obviously have my account, so I'm just taking this out here. So I'll just go and I log in here myself. So once you have gone through the whole setup process, we end up in this screen here, and we want to create a VM instance. Just go with the name that's there, but what is important here is that because I'm using the BelaBox repository both for the SRT and the SRTLA relay, we need a different image. So what we want here, we want to change the image. We want to go platform images, we want canonical Ubuntu, and very important, we want 1804, because there are certain libraries that aren't in 2004 that we need. So select that image, and then you go down here, you want to generate a key pair for me. You can use your own public key for authentication, but in this case I just go with whatever they generated for me, and I save the 2 keys. So they are now saved in my downloads here. So just double check that I have them. Okay, and then we say create. So this is now provisioning. It's going to take a little bit. Once this is provisioned, it will actually show the IP address and everything here. So you have an internal IP address here, and you have an external IP address here. That's the bits and pieces that we need. So that's great. So the next thing then is you need PuTTY installed if it's Windows. If you're on Linux, you have the built-in SSH tools, and on Mac I can't help you there, I don't know. So anyhow, what we start on Windows first is an application called PuTTY-gen, and we load the file that we just downloaded, the key. Let's see here, sort by date modified, the newest one here, and we want the private key. That's the one here that I need. Open. Okay, Okay, that's imported, and then you want to save private key, yes, and put that in documents, and I call that Oracle VM4. You can see I've been doing a few tests for today already, so that's saved now, so I can close PuTTY again, that's fine, and then I'll start PuTTY itself. PuTTY is a tool for SSH telnet remote access to things. So the first things first is obviously I'll copy the IP, the public IP address of my VM. It goes in here, and that will be totally useless to you later on, because obviously I'm just going to destroy this VM when I'm done. Oracle VM4. I then go to SSH down here on the left, and I go to auth and browse, and then I need to go down and load the key that I just have saved. We go back up here again, and we save this for future reference. I have it in my list here of hosts. So open that, accept the key. Okay. The username, the default username on these images is Ubuntu, and that's us in. So sudo bash will get me root access. And then the first thing we do is we'll do an apt-get update. There's a couple of things that I now do for preparation before we jump into the BelaBox SRTLA howto, because there's a few bits missing there. It's not that actively maintained anymore because BelaBox now offers a cloud service, but some people want to host their own. And if you use an industrial encoder like the TBS or the LinkPy, then you might want to, well, then this could actually be useful for you too. So the other thing is then we do an apt-get dist upgrade. So that's just bringing all the packages up to speed. We are not upgrading to 2004. The problem with 2004 is that some of the libraries have changed, and the source code for BelaBox was built towards 1804 because that's the Jetson image is on that distribution. So the Jetson Nano image, which is the platform that the BelaBox is using. So this is not BelaBox specific now, but it's just basically that's one of the easiest resources to use. You can also use Nimble or SLS. I haven't really tested with any of those. This actually works quite well for me. If you see me looking up once in a while, so I have my screen up here, where I can monitor my view, my recording. Okay, so that's been ran through there. So the next thing then is we need to install a few packages that we need. Again, I leave this in the description. It's basically the essentials to build the software, and a few tools that are quite handy to use. Okay, that's us fully installed. So the next step then is see here. So next step then is the BelaBox SRTLA howto. The link again I leave below, and we'll start with the SRT relay. So for a industrial encoder or whatnot, see here. And we built that. Okay, so just make. Okay, so that's built. And what we need then is we go back out here and we need a script, which is our relay script. This is basically the script that we start to create the relay. And let's see here, I have that prepared. So, and basically what this does is it starts SRT live transmit. It listens on port 5005 for the encoder, and it listens on port 5006 for OBS, and then it pipes the output and the error log into a file in the local folder here. So we do that, and we basically then say change mod plus x SRT relay. So now it's executable. I can show the file is here, and we'll start it. Okay, so it's running. You can see that here. That's the file running. Yeah, this is running anyhow. And there is there are the outputs. We go and we say tail-f SRT output.log. Okay, and now I start OBS. And bring that over here, and we'll take properties. This is my source. That's an IP from an older VM that doesn't exist anymore. But basically what gets entered here is SRT : / the IP of the VM port. In this case, let's see, port 5006 was for OBS, mode caller, connect timeout, and timeout. And the advantage by doing it like this is also that you can now record your stream. The problem if you run OBS in listener mode is that if you start your recording, if your SRT stream disconnects, it won't be able to reconnect again while you're recording it. It blocks it. It's a problem with OBS. That's quite annoying, but it's known. So anyhow, so we go here, public IP address, and we copy that. They have a nice copy link here, and then we go into our OBS and we'll update that. And that is correct. Yeah, that's all set. So that's the OBS portion set. This is a media source, obviously. So if you have your OBS already set up for SRT before you had that, otherwise you just create a media source and you use the URL like that. Obviously not local file and no restart playback, and then import format is mpeg.ts. So that's now set up. And then we go over to our browser here, and the next thing we are setting up is 1055. So this is a LinkP ENC1 version 2, but it works as well on a TBS, on Endeco, or any other industrial encoder. So in here, so the first thing obviously you want, in my case I'm using the USB cam, it could be the HDMI, that obviously needs to be enabled. I have it set to H.265, so I'm encoding HEVC, constant bitrate, and 3000 kilobit is my bitrate. And then I go over to stream, and here in USB cam I have my URL here, so we'll update the IP address. Just show this, so SRT and then the IP address and port 5005 in this case. Again, mode caller. I have defined max bandwidth because I don't wanted to use more than that. And then all I have to do is I have to enable the push URL. So that's fine. So we'll go over to OBS again. This might take a few seconds here. And then meanwhile, we can have a look at the session. Oh, I have no output. Is the IP correct? Let's have a look. Oh yeah, here is the problem. So nothing has happened. And the reason for that is actually Oracle has put default firewall routes on these virtual machines. So if you do an IP tables-L-N, which shows you all the firewall routes, you see there's a whole lot of them. Now, just for good measure, we'll take a copy of them. So IP tables-save, and then greater than, and then into IP tables.backup. So we do that. Okay, and the next thing we do is we'll create another script here. So show IP tables clear.sh. And what this does, it sets all the policies to accept. It flushes out the table and cleans out the firewall for now. So, and then we'll give that executable rights again, IP tables clear. And if I now do an IP tables-L-N, the tables are clear and all the policies are to accept. Now we go back to OBS. We go back to our PuTTY session and we'll have another look at the output. So if I go and let me restart this, it might have given up. And I'm still not getting anything. And there's a little other trick that you need to do. So that was the firewalls locally, but that's not enough. So we go back into our management here, and you see network security groups here at primary VNIC, right? Click here, and this instance traffic is controlled by its firewall rules in addition to the associated subnet security rules, right? So we go in here, and here's the default security list, and then we add an ingress route. Default is 000/0. That's everything. We want UDP because SRT is UDP. We won't be specifying any default or destination range, and all UDP traffic to host. Add ingress rule. That's us done there. So we go back to our Oracle Cloud, and we go back to our dashboard and back to our instance, which is this one. Now we go back to OBS, and voila, I have a feed, as you can see. So that's basically that. So that's an SRT feed set up now. Great. Shutting down OBS here, and I go back to my industrial encoder here. Shut that down. It's okay. Wonderful. Okay, so for SRTLA again, let's see here, cat tail. Maybe it was an error log then, cat SRT. Yeah, so you can see here in the error log it had the messages from the connecting and all that. So that's great. For SRTLA then, I have a different script. So we go here and we take the BelaBox howto again. And we now also need the SRTLA portion. So we take that and we copy that. Go back in here. We make sure that we are in our home directory. So home Ubuntu, I am, but just for good measure, right? And then I just copy this in and we make this. Okay, and then show SRTLA relay.sh. I use Joe as my editor. I just prefer that. You can use Nano or VI or whatever you want, but that's just for me. That's the best editor. Again, I have a script prepared, which is from the howto. If you look at the bottom of the howto here, it describes example usage, how you set things up. But I will link my script bits in the description. So what this does, it starts SRTLA underscore rec 5000, and it sends it localhost, sends the stream, unbonds it, and then sends the stream to port 5002, where SRT live transmit picks up the stream on 5002 and then presents it on 5001 with a listener for OBS to pick up. Now this script is a little bit different because, as you can see, I'm not piping anything into the log. I start this differently. You can do it any way you want, but in this case I use a tool called Screen. It's like a virtual console. I need to start, I need to start with giving it executable permissions. So now I'm starting it. Okay, and that's run. And if I want to get out of this, I just go Control A and D, and I'm in. If I ever want to reconnect to it, Screen-R. And that means I can always go back and see what screen output has this done. But that's basically me done. So now if I connect OBS on port 5001, it would be getting the SRT portion of the SRTLA stream, and then my BelaBox I set up with the IP of the Oracle host and port 5000. And that's basically it. The other thing that could be done here is you could set up a Nginx with the RTMP proxy plugin, and then you could even use this for a live view solo or something else that only is capable of RTMP instead. I hope this helps. Please leave a like down below and maybe subscribe if the content is any useful to you, and I'll see you in another one.